Yes, I have started recording this slide.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today, with the students of Birla Balika Vidya with class 12 Commerce are going to present before you Chapter 1 of Indian Economic Development, that is Indian Economy on the Eve of Independence in a new artistic form. These are our group members, and so let's start with it. Khushi.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm here to give you all a compact introduction of the chapter Indian Economy on the Eve of Independence. So, as we all know that India's present-day economy has its roots steeped in the history, particularly in the period when India was under colonial rule, which lasted for almost 2 centuries before India finally got its independence on 15th August 1947. But the sole purpose of the British colonial rule was to one second was to reduce the country to being a raw material supplier for Great Britain's own rapidly expanding modern industrial base, and secondly to make Indian market full of finished goods which were manufactured in Britain. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to tell you about lower level of economic development under the colonial rule. India had an independent economy before British rule. Although agriculture was the main source of livelihood, but country's economy was characterized by various activities. India was well known for its handicraft industries, but economic policies pursued by the colonial government were concerned towards the protection and promotion of their home country. Therefore, India transformed into supplier of raw materials and consumer of finished goods from Britain. The colonial government also never made any attempts to estimate India's national and per capita income. Although some of the people like Dadabhai Naoroji, V.K.R.V. Rao, and R.C. Desai made some individual attempts. Therefore, during the British rule, the Britishers transformed the Indian economy into colonial, backward, semi-feudal, stagnant, depleted, and amputated economy. But British rule also had some positive effects on Indian economy, such as self-sufficiency in food grains, better means of transportation because of development of roads and railways, great check on of famine so that food supplies could be transported to affected areas, shift to monetary economy from barter system, and effective administration setup. Thank you.
Agriculture sector. On the eve of independence, our economy was called agrarian economy because 85% of the country's population lived in villages and were directly or indirectly deriving their livelihood from agriculture, but still was contributing less to the GDP of the country. The reason for this less contribution by the agriculture sector was stagnation and backwardness of our Indian agriculture. We all know our agriculture system was mainly ruled by the British government. One of its examples is revenue settlement system. British government introduced revenue settlement system in which they appointed zamindars so that they can get the land revenue on a fixed date and a particular amount. Zamindars were supposed to collect rent from the tenants and deposit the revenue to the government on a specific date and a specific amount. Zamindars were free to collect any amount of revenue from the tenant, so they used to collect high rent from the tenant and pay it to the British government and for their own luxurious consumption. In the case if tenants failed to pay the rents, they were ejected from the land and tenants reduced their status to the landless laborers. If zamindars failed to pay the land revenue to the Britishers, they lose their zamindari right and reduce to tenants. Though zamindars were collecting high rents from the tenants for the luxurious life, but even in the times of a drought or flood, they used to give the same amount of their collection to the British government so that they can maintain their status and so that they were not supposed to reduce the status to poor tenants. and this resulted in a widespread poverty, stagnation in agriculture sector. Reasons for agriculture stagnation. Low level of technology. We all know on the eve of independence, India was facing so many problems, and during that time there were not too much of technology available there and that time, and farmers were also not able to use the good technology for the farming because they were poor, and the Britishers used to rule them, so they have to pay rents regularly, so they did not get much money to spend on this kind of facilities for their agriculture. Negligible use of fertilizers, very high rent collected by zamindars, lack of irrigational facilities, low productivity and production, crop failure due to frequent droughts and floods, and in addition to all this, debt traps, high interest rent on debt were also there. So these are the common reasons for stagnation of our of agriculture, and many times due to all this, many poor teenagers used to commit suicide. So because they were highly pressurized by their upper level authorities like zamindars and British government. And whenever this occurred, no one was responsible for it, but it was a high loss for India during that time. And these are the most common reasons for our agriculture stagnation. Thank you.
Very nicely explained, Hetvi, Sneha, and Khushi Yadav, and nice caricatures also. And during the class, if someone is having any doubt, they can ask the whoever is presenting, and if she is unable to explain, then I will explain that point. So there is no issue if somebody is having some doubts to ask something anywhere, so they can ask during the class.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, beta.
Commercialization of agriculture during the colonial rule. The commercialization of agriculture is a phenomenon where agriculture is governed by the commercial consideration, which means that certain specialized crops began to grow for the consumption, not for the consumption of the villagers, but for the sale in the national and international market. Farmers were forced to shift to the commercial crops like indigo, cotton, from the conventional subsistence crops like rice and wheat. It began in India during the British rule. The commercialization of Indian agriculture was done primarily to feed the British industries. For example, several efforts were made to increase the production of cotton in India to provide good quality cotton to the cotton textile industries of Britain. Indigo and more than that, tea and coffee plantation were encouraged in India because these could get the commercial market. Most of the plantations for commercial crops were controlled by the Britishers. Indigo was required by the textile industries in Britain for dyeing, bleaching of the textile. The commercialization of India agriculture was initiated in India by the British through their direct and indirect policies activities. The farmers were either lured or forced to accept the advance payments of the cultivation of indigo, which exposed the subsistence farmers to uncertainties of the market. While earlier they would grow grain for their family consumptions, and now they needed cash to buy it from the market. But they would seldom have cash owing to their mounting indebtedness. Perpetual indebtedness of the farmers were perpetual stagnation of the farming. Thank you.
Radhika.
Good morning. My topic is decay of handicraft.
Nice
Prior to British.
Yes, Radhika, carry on.
Thank you, sir.
Prior to British rule, handicraft in India enjoyed the worldwide reputation of excellence and quality, but the British Raj contributed to their decay. It was owing to discriminatory economy and political policy pursued by the British government.
under discriminatory traffic policy, there was no duty on the export goods from India to import of British finished goods to India, but heavy duty was placed on export of handicrafts. So Indian handicrafts stalled, looking both domestic and export market. It leads to the decay of Indian handicraft. The problem faced by handicraft persons. The handicraft artisans suffer a lot due to being unorganized, lack of education, low capital, poor exposure to new technology, absence of market intelligence, and poor intellectual framework. Indian handicraft. Indian handicraft is an art of making craft by hand in India is called Indian handicraft. In ancient India, people lived in colonies called tribals and they were used to make utility items for their daily needs. That art of making the craft called handicrafts and their item called handicraft goods. Thank you.
Good, Radhika, well explained. Uh,
Good morning, everyone. My topic is Black growth of modern industries. During the second half of the 19th century, modern industries began to take root in India, but its progress remained very slow. As you all can see in the PPT, it is mentioned there. Initially, this development was confined to the setting up of cotton and jute textile mills. And the cotton textile mills mainly dominated by Indians and jute mills mainly dominated by foreigners. And cotton textile mills mainly located in western parts of the country, Maharashtra and Gujarat. As you all can see in the PPT, it is highlighted Maharashtra and Gujarat. And jute mills are located in the existence of few manufacturing units here and there was no substitute to the near wholesale displacement of the country's traditional handicraft industries. Now I will explain the drawbacks of the new industrial sector. The growth rate of the new industrial sector and its contribution to GDP remained very small. And the another significant drawback is that very limited area of operation of the public sector. And this sector remained confined only to the railways, power generation, communication, ports, and some other departmental undertakings. Now, what do you mean by capital goods industry? Capital goods industries means industries which can produce machine tools which are in turn used for producing articles for current consumption. There are hardly any capital goods industries to help promote further industrialization in India. Suppose the iron and steel industries began coming up in the beginning of the 20th century and the TISCO was incorporated in 1907. A few other industries in fields of sugar, cement, paper, etc. came up after the Second World War. Thank you.
Nicely explained, Vindhya. And when you are presenting your caricatures, so like Vindhya has explained that you should see the caricature. So explain with the help of your caricature, all those who are left. Okay, good. Next.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, someone want to take control, so they are sending me the request. So I am not able to change this PPT.
Share again. Share the PPT again.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
industrial sector. In through this caricature, I'm going to show the decline of the traditional handicraft industries. There were certain reasons for the decline of the handicraft industry. The first was the discriminatory in the tariff policy. According to this policy, high import and export duties were charged on the domestic goods. Low or zero import duties were charged on the British goods, or low or zero export duties were charged on the primary goods and the raw materials which were exported to Britain. The second was the competition from the machines. The Industrial Revolution in Britain gave a stiff competition to the handicraft industries in India. Due to the low cost and better quality product produced by the machine, forced the decline of the handicraft industries in India. Disappearance of the princely courts. Prior to the British rule, the Nawabs, Rajas, princes, and the emperors ruled different parts of the country. They used to patronize the handicrafts, because of which the Indian handicraft industry had acquired international reputation. The beginning of the British rule implied the end of the princely courts. Consequently, the handicraft started decaying. The new patterns of demand. The colonial rule gave rise to the new class, which were the British workers. This class changed the demand in India. They were against the Indian producers and in favor of the British producers. More market of British goods. The British introduced the railways in the 1850s, known as the passenger train. It now became easy to transport goods for them. As a result, the British products expanded while it started shrinking for the high cost of Indian products. Hence, all these were the reasons to the decay of the handicraft industries. Thank you.
Very nice. Don't change this slide. Go back to the previous slide once. Yes. So decay of traditional handicraft. Decay of traditional handicraft. Next slide. Yes, this one. So this is a very nice caricature and well explained. It most of the caricatures are self-explanatory, and in this we can see that this is a machine. Here, Indian craftsmen, they are putting all their efforts. They are doing here, but who is reaping? The reaper is the British. This Indian craftsmen, they are facing discrimination in the tariff policy. The British, no tariff, Indian, high tariff. So not only that, the other problems they are facing has been shown here. They are having lack of technology, so they cannot put technology in their production. Competition from machines. The British, they are having machine, but we are not having. So very nicely explained this one. Then here, this balance. Here, this is Indian craftsman. Very nice. She has made almost crushed.
Thank you, sir.
Here, tax. All the taxes, zero import duties, but zero import duties on British goods. So this craftsman is unable to face the competition. And not only that, other reasons are explained here, that this appearance of princely court, tariff-free import, and low cost and better quality of machine made products, new pattern of demand, introduction of the railways in India. What all these causes this Indian handicraft craftsmen, they were dying due to that. So well self-explanatory this caricature is. Next please.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, beta.
Harshita.
As we all know, India became an exporter of the primary goods such as the raw silk, cotton, wool, sugar, indigo, jute, etc., and an import of finished consumer goods. like the cotton, silk, and the produced in the factories of Britain. Britain maintained a monopoly control over Indian export and import. As a result, more than half of Indian foreign trade was restricted to Britain, while the rest were allowed with a few other countries like China, Sri Lanka, and Iran. The opening of Suez Canal further invested significant British control over Indian foreign trade. The restrictive policies of the commodity producers, trade and tariff purpose by the colonial government adversely affect the structure and the composition of the volume of Indian foreign trade. Thank you, sir.
Good, Harshita.
Sir, this is the occupational structure. In first, there's
Yes.
agriculture. In agriculture, there was 70 to 75% of the population was employed at that time. And then it comes to service sector, there was about 20 to 15% of the population employed in service sector. And then in industrial, there was 10%. It matlab the lowest percent of population was in employed in industrial sector. Thank you.
What were the reasons of lowest population was working in industrial sector? Can you tell, Bhavya? And highest in agriculture? Bhavya?
Sir, no. Sir, as in agriculture, matlab, people were
Yes.
employed since the beginning. That's why. And then industrial,
The
it
same
was.
question is asked in the board exam and you have to write. Yes, continue. Continue, Bhavya, what you are telling.
And then, sir, in industrial sector, people were. Matlab, there were some industries, but not the capital industries, capital manufacturing industries, which were needed at that time. And there were many export duties and taxes, so it was not profitable at that time.
Okay, somebody else will give the answer. We can see here agriculture sector is having almost 3/4 of the population engaged, while almost 1/15 to 20% very nominal part is engaged in service sector and list is in industrial sector. So what are the reasons? Somebody, whether they are in this team or not.
Sir, can you please
Yes.
repeat the question?
Question is why more were engaged in agriculture and least were engaged in industrial sector?
Sir, can I?
Yes, any of you.
So since almost 85% of the population resided in mostly villages, and in
Yes.
villages the main occupation was agriculture.
That is my question, beta. Why agriculture was the main occupation of agriculture that time?
Sir, because
Very lack of education.
You continue. First you continue. Next whoever has to tell after her. Yes, beta.
Sir, since
Okay, sir.
very few industries were there during that time,
Yes.
as the industrialists didn't have money to invest, and even if they had, the market didn't supported them.
Yes. That is the reason. So reason was we were not having modern industries. First thing, the growth of industries, it was very low. Very few industries were there in the country, and all the traditional industries, they were locking down. Why? Due to different discriminatory policies and other policies of the government that time, as there were no other source of earnings, so the people were engaged in agriculture. That was the reason. Yes, next. Divya.
Good morning, everyone. My topic is infrastructure. Under colonial regime, basic infrastructure such as railways, ports, water transport, and telegraphs did develop. However, the real motive behind this development was not to provide basic amenities to the people, but to subserve various colonial interests. Roadways. As we can see, roadways constructed in India during the British rule were not fit for modern transport. The roads that were built were primarily served the purposes of mobilizing the army within India and drawing out raw materials from the countryside to the nearest railway stations and or the ports to send these to faraway England or other lucrative foreign destinations. There was an acute shortage of all-weather roads to reach out to the rural areas during the rainy season. The people living in these areas suffered from natural calamities. Inland waterways. Along with development of roads and railways, the colonial dispensation also took measures for developing the inland trade and sea lanes. However, the measures were far from satisfactory. The inland waterways were proved uneconomical, as in case of Coast Canal on the Orissa coast. Thank you.
Good, Divya.
Introduction of railways. The British introduced the railways in India in 1850. It is considered as one of their most important contributions. The railways affected the Indian economy in two ways. Firstly, it enabled people to undertake long distance travel and break the geographical and cultural barriers. Secondly, it fostered commercialization of Indian agriculture, which adversely affected the self sufficiency of the village economies in India. The railways were developed to move finished goods physically from Britain to different interior parts of colonial India. The Britishers wanted to widen the size of the market for their own good. Motives for constructing a railway were to have effective control and administration over the Indian territory. Secondly, to earn profit through foreign trade by linking major ports with railways. And third, profitable investment in India. The volume of India's exports undoubtedly increased, but its benefits rarely accrued to the Indian people, which is shown here in the caricature. The social benefits which the Indian people gained owing to the introduction of the railways were outweighed by the country's huge economic loss. Thank you.
Good, Kumkum. So, railway. How many of you have seen? Just go to the last slide. Yes. How many of you have seen steam engine? This type of train. Those who have seen.
So me,
Who me?
Kashish.
Kashish, okay. Where you had seen? Kashish.
Sir, in Mumbai only.
Okay, in Mumbai. Okay. In museum?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Somebody else who have seen?
Yes, sir, me, Hetvi.
Hetvi, where?
Sir, Bangalore.
Bangalore. So Bangalore, it was in museum or somewhere else?
No, sir, it is Nilgiri Express. It is like this only.
Okay, Nilgiri Express.
Yes, sir.
So in hilly region it is.
Yes, sir.
So they are having a steam engine that is run by coal.
Yeah, sir, I think so that it was steam engine.
No, there are these engines, three types of engines are there, railway engines. One is diesel, one is steam, and one is electric. So that was of coal engine or that was of diesel engine? That I am asking.
Sir, I am not sure.
Okay, you are not sure. Somebody else? Uh, when I was a young child, not only that, even till my 10th, most of the Indian trains were run by steam engine that time. These steam engine were very powerful. They were run, the coal was used there as a fuel. So this one question is here. When was railway introduced in India?
Sir, 1850.
1850. And the first railway bridge, where it was
1854.
built?
Bombay,
1854. Where?
Bombay to Thane.
Thane.
Bridge.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes,
On
sir.
which river it was? That is the work for your research. You have to find out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So somebody can tell me the impact of railways on Indian freedom movement?
Sir, it integrated freedom movement.
Yes, how it integrated Indian freedom movement? Can you explain
Because
with
the
some
leaders
example?
were,
Yes.
yes, sir, through railways, they were allowed, like the Indian leaders can go for long distances to, to unite the people or to make them aware about the Britishers' policies and all.
Yes. Before the introduction of railway or freedom movement, it was scattered in different parts. But after the introduction of railway, the people of different culture, language, they came together, they join hands, and our freedom struggle became uh, our freedom struggle was strengthening due to that. Next slide.
Anushka. Sir. Sir, Anushka is having she is not able to join the class. Sir.
Hiti, you explain it, okay?
Oh my God, sir.
What, my God, it is written here. You have to explain only positive contribution made by British in India. You have learned the lesson. Any of you can explain.
Sir, I'll try.
Okay.
Sir, you help me out.
Yes, yes, sure.
Telecommunication in India began with introduction of telegraph in 1851 between Calcutta and Sir, you only explain now.
So there were many. Can you go to the previous slide? You have slip also that. Previous slide. Positive contribution made by British in India. So first is administration, building of monuments, not monuments we will say, many of the administrative building. For example, our Rashtrapati Bhavan, it was made by the British. Our parliament, that time by the British. And many of such buildings were, we can see many example of architecture in India made, built by the British. So originally called the House of Parliament, it was designed by architect Sir Edward Lutyens and Sir Herbert Baker in 1912-1913. The opening ceremony of the Parliament House was performed on 18 January 1927 by the Lord Irwin, Viceroy of India that time. So this building is still, our Parliament is running in the same building where many of the law act are made. Next slide. If you go to the next slide. Previous, yes. Now about telecommunication. So India, British introduced telegraph and telephone in India. In 1882, telephone companies, namely the Oriental Telephone Company Limited and the Anglo-Indian Telephone Company Limited, they approached the British government and the permission was refused. The government would itself take the initiative. The government, British government said that they will took this initiative themselves, and the British government set up telephone in India that time. In 1881, the government reversed its earlier decision and a license was granted to the Oriental Telephone Company of England for opening telephone exchanges at Calcutta, Bombay, Madras and Ahmedabad. So these were the cities where we had telephone in the beginning. Before that, we were not having the telephone. Means even Delhi was not having telephone in the beginning. Next. Prohibition of child marriage. Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Lord William Bentinck, they made effort for that to prohibit child marriage. Still there are some, but they made act. Prohibition of child marriage in 1842, the Native Marriage Act intended legislative action for the prohibition of child marriage, but it had limited periphery, as it was not applicable to Hindus, Muslims and other religions, and they were the main religions. So in 1891, B.M. Malabaris made effort, and these efforts, they prohibited the child marriage, the girl child marriage below age of 12 years. So it was a great achievement that time. Next. Sati Partha, it was banned. Next. Hetvi?
Yes.
Go to the next. Yes.
Lakshita.
Lakshita Goyal, okay.
Good morning, everyone. My topic is positive contribution made by British in India. Commercialization of Indian agriculture. The commercialization of Indian agriculture also partially benefited Indian traders and moneylenders who had huge fortunes by working as middlemen for the Britishers. Upper class people and Britishers were benefited from commercialization and the peasants were introduced to the international market. Development of inland trade and sea trade. The colonial rulers took measures for the development of inland trade and sea lanes. The main purpose behind their development was to serve Britain's colonial interest. Introduction of railways. Under the colonial regime, basic infrastructure such as railways, ports, water transport, etc. were developed. British introduced the railway in India in 1850 and it is one of their most important contribution. Railway affected structure of Indian economy in two ways. On the one hand, it enabled people to undertake long distance travel and break geographical and cultural barriers, while on the other hand, it fostered commercialization of Indian agriculture, which adversely affect self-sufficiency of the village economies. The volume of Indian export was expanded. Thank you.
Okay. Go to the previous slide once. This one. Lakshita, you have made very good. All of you have made very nice caricatures, undoubtedly. Lakshita, for this caricature, I have some suggestion.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Although the caricature is very nice, but for dressing of the farmer, do you know which type of dress was put on by the farmers during British period?
No, sir.
No. I have asked you to watch some movies. One was Do Bigha Zameen for first chapter. How many of you have watched? That is why I have asked you. How many of you have watched the movie Do Bigha Zameen?
Sir Kashish.
Okay. So you must know, Kashish, what type of dress was put on by British by Indian farmers during British period. Can you explain here? Khushi Kudania, you are raising hand.
Sir, so they used to wear those dhotis and all, and some white color kurta type.
Yes, kurta and dhoti.
And something on their head also.
Sir, they mostly wear dhoti and kurta and pagdi on their head.
Yes,
pagdi on head. Yes. So such type of things we should keep there. Okay, Lakshita?
Yes.
Your
But
caricature
khadi
is very
style
good.
was different from dhoti, kurta and this pagdi.
Yes, yes. So Lakshita, I hope can you make one more caricatures based on farmers market or the shift of agriculture from subsistence to market based. Lakshita.
Okay, sir. Sir, I will make.
Yes, we will add that also. We will keep it and we will add that also. Okay?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is question R. The questions by anybody on any of the topic in this chapter? Stop sharing it now, Hetvi. Questions?
The aviation sector.
Aviation sector is missed. Okay. So aviation sector, Tata Airlines, when it was introduced in India?
Sir, 1932.
1932. Yes, good. So if something is left, just make that caricature by anybody. Any can make that, and it will be added to the PPT. Sent to who is having this PPT? Hetvi. Just send that to Hetvi, and Hetvi will add there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Very nice presentation as well as caricatures by you, and I hope that it would help in your learning. Those who are not the members of this team, Will they comment on the caricatures and explanation, please? Their feedback.
Yes, sir, it was too good.
Yes. All those who are from the other team, give your feedback fast.
It helped in better understanding.
How?
So that is, as it was interactive as well as it helped to understand the things better.
Okay. Others, those who are not in this team? Jyoti Agrawal.
Yes, sir. It was really very
Whatever you felt, just say that.
the
Okay. How it affect your learning?
sir, as the visualization part is good. Means from seeing pictures.
So now it
Sir,
will
we
be
can
truly depict
Sir,
that
in this
what the picture is
explanation,
trying to say or speak.
Yes. Tanushri, you were saying
sir,
something?
in this explanation, we didn't feel bored.
Yes,
we
that was
feel
also
good.
because
Yes,
the
sir.
caricatures were attractive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Charu Surana.
Sir, like caricatures
Your
explanation
feedback.
was very nice, and apart from the caricatures and explanation, the students really like they have taken the initiative, and it really showed their team spirit also, and they have really put the whole like everything in a very nice manner.
How can we improve it? My next question.
So as the few topics were also missing,
Okay.
so after adding that, secondly, sir, on this digital platform we face like a problem of communication,
Yes.
and because of network issues, few students were unable
As
to join.
as far as I think, there should be more interaction during the class. When we are presenting, so we should interact with others also. So if we will have interaction or in some interactive manner, we can explain it. So our learning may be good. It may be better. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
So questioning,
Yes,
answering,
sir.
all these, that should be there also. Whenever you are making for the next topics that I will give further, so you have to do that. You have to, with each caricatures, you will have some questions to ask the participants. Okay, so that it may be interactive, so that they can focus.
Sir, after the whole presentation, we can have like quiz sort of whatever we
After the
learned.
whole present, no, not after the whole presentation. With each 3 or 4 caricatures.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes.
Sir, after each
While
topic.
Some
we can
icebreakers.
ask them questions and interact.
Yes, yes. Some icebreakers we can have.
Sir, your background is looking good today.
This is artificial.
Sir, after like seeing your background, I'm really missing my font classroom memories.
Very soon you will be in class, don't worry. All of you will be in class. We teachers are also waiting for you.
I hope so.
And we hope that very soon the condition will be conducive and you all will be in class and we will have a better understanding and communication there in the class and learnings. Enjoyment also. Many programs you are missing this year.
Yes, sir.
Party
We won't be
drama
allowed
and all
really type of
the things.
party drama.
Yes. Don't worry, it will be soon.
Sir, what about our farewell?